It's a larger societal set of ideas about who gets what. And we're seeing it now. Like, in the canyon, there was this guy who would come in. He'd been a wide receiver for the Redskins,
Tell
and
me again where the canyon is
it's Liberty
geographically.
City. So this is northern Miami, kind of north of
Okay.
downtown Miami, of course, near I-95. Just these, Liberty City and Overtown, predominantly African American, incredibly economically depressed. And what you saw was that this guy would come in and he would recognize, he was a coach, and he would recognize who the good kids were. And I remember he said one time, I don't
Now, when
bother.
you say good, do you mean character or
No, I mean
athleticism? Are we talking?
athleticism. I mean purely
Okay.
athleticism. The character they can build in once they coach them up, because then they have something at stake in their lives. And what this guy would say is, I don't bother recruiting anybody who's past third or fourth grade, because those kids are lost. There's no way I can rescue them. And so they're just going to have their terrible schools and they're going to drop out. And the thing that they'll have, maybe if they want some economic advancement, is maybe drug sales. Maybe 1 out of 20 will get an opportunity to go to college, have a good career, have some earning power and some monetary power in the culture. But for the other 19, it's going to be, well, what's your fastest, that criminal endeavor is the way for them to gain power in a world where they're essentially powerless. But the point I would make is that even he could recognize that there was a kind of indoctrination, and that you needed to get these good young kids who were, get them young, and then give them the discipline and give them the sense of self and coach them up and see if they're good enough. And it's a lottery system. It's casino capitalism. And what we do is celebrate the Lamar Jacksons and, the ones who make it, and say, oh my God, their path and their small town. And, oh, there's Charles Barkley visiting the city where he grew up. And it's like the only reason they matter to us at all is because of what they can do with their bodies. It has nothing to do with the content of their characters, has nothing to do with the content of their minds. And that is what America has kind of decided. Collectively, all of us. And that's why sports are such a big deal. And I think that's why football in particular is such a big deal. It just allows us to treat an entire segment of the underclass as a kind of plantation or breeding ground for athletes who will be eventually good enough to entertain us playing children's games.
Ouch.
Well,